Hi and welcome back. So last week's video was pre-recorded. I did take a vacation. I went home to visit some friends and family. I had no idea how much I needed that. I have been living off of PTSD, fear, anxiety, stress, you name it, nightmares, everything for the past 6 months. There's a lot. Still can't say anything because of certain legal circumstances. But that won't be until next year, beginning of next year. And hopefully I'll be able to sit down with you and go over everything. Did have fun. Actually got to see a overboard drill. I'll put that in the video. It was amusing, very amusing, and had a ton of fun. Got a lot of exercise. We walked up and down the boardwalk all day long, ate good food, bought me a new sweater, and relaxed. And I was able to actually breathe a little bit. So, in celebration of me coming back home, my mother gave me like 5 pounds worth of food magazines. And this recipe is actually a modification of one of them called garlic soup. The recipe does say you can put poached eggs on it and serve it. I'm not putting poached eggs on it. I think that's a little bit too icky. But we're going to go ahead and work on the rest of it. Now, I am substituting a few of the ingredients. I don't have any tomato paste, but I do have dehydrated tomatoes. So I'm going to use those instead of tomato paste. And I'm also going to add some bouillon to the stock, because whenever I can my own stock, I don't put any salt in here. I don't put anything in here. It is just the broth. So let's get started. All right, so first thing is first, we're going to go ahead and fry up some sliced garlic, about 4 or 5 cloves, depending on the size, with a little bit of oil. This will take about 5 minutes or so. About whenever that's done, you kind of want it a little bit roasted. And drain this on some paper towels and add a little bit of salt to it, kind of like making chips. All right, get these up real quick before they burn. Because they can, so you gotta be really quick. Uh, almost burned them all, but it does go rather quickly. Add a little bit of salt to it, set it aside, let it cool down a little bit, because I do believe this is a topping. Now we're going to go ahead and take a half a cup of garlic. We're going to mince this in a blender. Now you can use regular garlic. I'm making my own. To get it going, you're going to add a little bit of water, maybe a tablespoon, just to get it to start going. Right, you want to make sure that there's no lumps or large chunks in here. Like that. So keep going. Now that we have our garlic smoothie, let's go ahead and get everything assembled. In a larger pan, we are going to be putting in 1 quart or 4 cups of chicken broth. Now, I'm guessing you probably could use beef broth, turkey broth, deer broth, anything that you have for this. It's just the flavor. Okay. To this, I'm going to add a good spoonful of bouillon. Now, this is beef bouillon. I know I am mixing my animals together, but you know what? Even if you make this veggie, it'll still turn out good. Unless you're allergic to the onion and garlic family, who doesn't like garlic? Well, there are people out there that don't like garlic, and there's people like me who could live off of it. But this soup is satisfying the ancestors right now. And it's great for if you're, have the flu or sick or the sniffles, anything. Right now it's cedar season, and it is getting to me. All right, now that we have added the bouillon and we are warming this up, we are going to add all that garlic. We are going to go ahead and add half a teaspoon of paprika. Smoked is best, but if you can't find smoked, that's fine. A little bit more. All right. Half a teaspoon of black pepper. Now let this set for a little bit. There is salt in the bouillon, and you want to salt to taste. So the salt we are going to add as a finishing salt. Now that we have this all nice and warmed up, let those spices mingle. The recipe calls for 1 pound of Yukon potatoes. I can't do potatoes, so I am substituting cut up radish for this. It's not going to be the same if you just do the potatoes. The radish is a decent substitute, but it is not, it has a different taste to it. Radish you can cook. And this is about a pound. Whenever I bought it, it was a big radish. So add as much as you want. I'm going to add about half of that and freeze the rest of it for other recipes. Now, since I don't have the tomato paste, I am going to put in a good handful of my dehydrated tomatoes that I did earlier this year. And then we are going to add spinach. Now the recipe calls for 6 cups of loosely packed baby spinach. It's cheaper if you buy it in the can. This will probably be 2 cans of baby spinach. I did buy 3 just in case, but I'm pretty sure that's all we're going to need. I am also going to put the water that's in the cans in here. That way we have a little bit more flavor, and it saves me of washing the strainer. All right, here we go with 1 can of spinach and 2 cans of spinach. Now this cost me about $3 for both cans. If you would try to purchase 6 cups of fresh spinach, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot more than this. And it'll wind up looking like this anyway. It also states a half a cup of fresh parsley. I had fresh parsley at one point, but I did dehydrate it, so I'm gonna go ahead and start adding about that much to this as well. I'm pretty sure they want some for garnish, but we're not that fancy here, are we? We are going to go ahead and let this simmer and cook until the radishes, you can poke through them just like you can with potatoes. And everything's rehydrated. Then we get to salt, and then we get to plate. Now you don't need to do spinach. The recipe called for spinach. You want to do collards, you want to do kale. I have some of my mallard spinach that I picked from this year's vines, as well as some red beet tops. You can use any leafy vegetable that you wish. It's just personal preference. That, and I like spinach. I know a lot of people who do. It's a lot of people, so there are actually people out there who cannot have spinach because something in it irritates, like kidney stones. Okay, so if you have kidney stones or are, you know, suspect you have any kidney stones, don't eat spinach. There's a whole bunch of foods that you can and cannot eat. You can substitute really easily with this recipe. Now, the soup is done when the radishes are done, and you can stick a fork in it, and there's no resistance. So we're done. Let's go ahead and taste this first. I have been tasting it. It does need a little bit more salt, but not much more. Maybe about a half a teaspoon max. Now you can use any salt substitute that you wish. It depends on your diet. Okay, taste again. So much better. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and plate up. Add some of the toasted garlic on the top. And some Asiago cheese. You can use any hard cheese you want if you have Parmesan or, you know, smoked hard cheeses, shredded, be perfect. There we go. Another thing you can add is croutons or crackers. It just really depends on personal preference. There is also the egg Whether to egg or not to egg is completely up to you. It is completely versatile. You can make this vegetarian or even vegan if that is your preference. But that's how you make garlic soup. I am still working on the quilt. I was on vacation for a week, so that was sitting in a corner of my office while I was gone. I will get back to it. I just need to get back to it. I already got part one, loaded and ready to go. Just need to do part two of me actually figuring out how to use the thing. Thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.